And welcome once again to the Student Section, a podcast where college students talk, wait for it, sports. I'm your host, Gary Sussman, not a student. And on today's final show of the semester, we will celebrate women's hoops with our special guest, Marist 1,000-point scorer, Zaria Shazer. And you'll get to meet the students behind the scenes who make up the Students Section. But first, a rousing panel is on hand. Senior Day, as we discuss sports with seniors Anthony DePonio, the Pony Man, the head of the Crack Research Department, Amanda Lavin, and the always stylish rider, Don't Call Me David, Lemmerman. Welcome, Senior Day. What a pleasure it is to have all of you in this studio. Great to see that you coordinated your looks before you came on. You're all matching.
Yeah, this was totally planned. I sent them a text before this episode, and I was like, you know what? We got to wear white. We got to wear jeans, white shoes.
I actually didn't read the text, but...
No, well, and Amanda, since she does all the researched the text and then broke it down into 5 different components. Well, first of all, as I said, welcome to the final episode. All 3 of you have been very instrumental in helping us put this startup together, which it is a startup. And for all 3 of you, you will be starting up anew in a very short time, as you're all going to be graduating.
Oh, don't say that G word, Gary.
No G word.
No G word.
We are now into May, the month of graduation. We'll talk sports, but what are each of you feeling as you get ready to depart?
For me personally, I think it's very bittersweet. Like these last couple weeks, it's hit me. I've been to a couple formals recently. I've been hanging out with my friends, just taking it all in. Yesterday, I didn't have anything to do, so I just took a walk across campus listening to music, and it was kind of hitting me. Man, I don't know. Like, I was just saying to a couple of the crew members before the episode started that, you know, throughout your whole life, you have structure. Or throughout in the beginning of your life, you have structure. You know, you're going to school, like, you know what you're going to do in the next couple of years, right? But I think especially in this field, in sports media, you don't really know what you're going to do right off the bat. At least most people I know. And that can be a little scary sometimes, but it's also exciting because you get to pave your own path and you get to decide where your life is going to be headed. So, yeah, it's a weird thought for sure.
Amanda?
It's very bittersweet. I think I'm ready for the next step. I definitely need money, so I can't wait for that. No matter what position I'm in, I just need money. But the one thing I'm going to miss is living with my friends, being so close to them. It's not going to be the same in even a month, and that's really hard because I've been with them the past 4 years. And even with, like, the crew here, this is the first semester I really hung out with them and got to know them, and it's been amazing, and it sucks that now I'm leaving.
Ryan? Ryder?
Ryan?
It's all right. It's okay. Honestly, the same thing. It's going to be rough leaving my friends because not many people know this, but the 2 people that I've lived with since freshman year, well, not since freshman year, but I lived with one of them since freshman year, were my friends since kindergarten. So
wow.
I went to kindergarten with them all the way through now.
That's crazy.
We went to high school, we went to the
really
same
cool.
college. So I've lived with the same 2 people for most of my life. So now leaving, it's going to be a weird change of pace. But
So, but you guys grew up together, so you come from the same hometown?
That's Long Island, so we're not really that far apart. My furthest friend is 30 minutes. And I went to his house every weekend when I was a kid, so 30 minutes is nothing for me.
Man, that's awesome.
Well,
that's right.
It's rare.
Yeah.
It's really rare.
We wish all of you well, and now you're done. No, so we're going to continue. So
Stab me in the heart, Gary. Damn.
Twist the knife a little bit.
Let's talk a little light stuff, which is sports, which is the toy department of life, because as you go on further, you see that fanatical devotion to sports can lead you in a number of different ways, but then as you go on in life, you see that it gets to take on more importance. I'm only kidding, you know. So I saw this online, and so I'll just throw this out. The king of New York right now, Jalen Brunson
Easily.
or Aaron Judge?
Oh, it's Brunson.
Right now, it's Brunson.
It's Brunson.
Wow.
Right now, and I met Aaron Judge 2 weeks ago.
I've never met
How was
Aaron
he?
Judge.
He was really cool. Like
Was he nice?
he's a really cool guy.
How was the height difference?
He's like at least a head taller than me.
That's crazy. Did
Just
you
a
did you
head.
guys hug?
Just a head.
Just
Did
a
you
hug.
go into his
Yes,
chest?
I hugged. He gave me an invite to his house for dinner. Yeah, it was real nice. No, I'm just kidding. I got to talk to him for like a solid 5 minutes. I took a picture with him. He's a really, really cool guy. But
So-
right now, even though I met him and even though I'm a big fan of Aaron Judge, I have to admit Jalen Brunson is the king of New York. Right
Wait a
now.
minute. Okay, so I may lose it right here. So if you were in a park, and Jalen Brunson was on one side and Aaron Judge was on the other side, and you had just random people in that park, who do you think that they would go to?
Brunson.
Aaron Judge.
Brunson.
Aaron Judge.
Brunson.
Aaron Judge.
Brunson.
Like
how many women are in
overall
the park?
Aaron Judge.
How many women are in the park?
All right. Jalen Brunson has had a spectacular year.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge, Rookie of the Year, MVP, 62 home runs, and he's larger than life.
Yes.
New York is a what have you done for me lately city.
I agree with
Jalen
that
Brunson.
very much.
Juan Soto or Jalen Brunson?
Juan
Jalen
Soto.
Brunson.
No, Juan Soto.
Jalen
Man,
Brunson.
No, Juan
Ryder
Soto.
is
It's
sticking
Jalen Brunson.
with Jalen Brunson.
I think it is. I think through all the boroughs,
But that's because basketball season's going on now. Take me now into the middle of July.
Yeah,
Jalen
Juan
Brunson.
Soto.
It's Jalen Brunson.
Who doesn't love Juan Soto?
Who doesn't love
in
the
New York
Knicks?
right now? Who doesn't love Juan Soto?
My
New York
brother's
right
a
now? I
Nets
just-
fan. He hates the
that's
Knicks.
a vast minority of New Yorkers.
I mean, I like them both, but
So you're
Objectively
going. So
speaking.
the consensus is right now Jalen Brunson is the king of New York over Aaron Judge
right
Yes.
at this current moment, yes.
at this current moment,
But
May
like
1st.
Overall, it's Aaron Judge. Yes.
Overall, it's Aaron
Yeah.
Judge.
It
Yes,
isn't.
absolutely.
No,
I'll die on
Ryder
this hill.
says
I
no.
will die on
Ryder
this hill.
says
Brunson hasn't won anything yet.
I know Will is back there losing his mind.
for his senior thesis, he goes. He's sticking with Jalen Brunson. Now, fast forward me to the middle of August. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Judge, Jalen Brunson.
Judge, still.
Wow.
Judge.
It really depends on what we do in the play. Honestly,
Now I didn't get to the season yet. I only got to the summertime.
Jalen Brunson. It's still Jalen
No,
Brunson.
I disagree with that. I think it's Judge, Rodgers,
I
Brunson.
I don't
and-
think I don't think so.
I don't think
Rodgers-
Rodgers.
no.
I don't think Rodgers would be
Okay.
up there, to be honest.
Same. I
I'm a
agree.
huge.
This is great. The seniors going at
I am
it.
a huge Jets fan, and you guys don't even know how hype the Jets fan base was when
I would-
Aaron Rodgers was practicing,
We were amazed.
tossing a football last
Yeah.
summer with a couple of the players. Like it was,
Which is sad.
And then-
it felt like we won the Super
It is
Bowl
sad.
already.
It's-
You did. He
horribly
played 4
He
plays.
played 4 plays, and
and then he
in a
got
typical
hurt.
Jets fashion, our season collapsed. However, this season we're going to win it all, right? As we say every year, we're going to win the chip.
I don't know about
I
we
just-
say it all the year.
yeah.
I think
Definitely
most
you.
things Jets fans do is we go,
Are
okay.
you a Jets fan?
Yeah.
Oh.
We start the season and we go, okay. And the third game comes and you're like, okay. Fourth game comes, you're okay.
All right. It's not football season. I want to get back to the hardwood. So our special guest today, Marist 1,000-point scorer Zaria Shazer, who is transferring. We'll try to get out of her where she's going, even though I won't. I know that will not be successful. But from the women's perspective, how do you think women's sports are doing right now, especially coming off the Caitlin Clark phenomenon? What's your perspective on that? And then the guys can
I
chime
think
in.
women's sports are doing extraordinary right now, especially with the WNBA. The WNBA has never been like big, but now you have name brand people entering the league, like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, everyone. It's gonna get a lot of traction, and people are gonna start watching. I mean, they're making new media deals. There's gonna be following on it, and I think that translates into every aspect of women's sports, like the World Cup. It was huge. The past World Cups, nobody really paid attention to women's, but you see it with the success in other countries. Like Spain won it this year. I think Spain won it, women's World
Yes.
Cup. But
That's where their administrator
the
got
U.S.
banned for
lost
life.
in
Yeah.
the round of 15 or something like that, and it was the least successful run they've had. It just shows the success overall for women's sport globally. So I think women's sports are on the rise. I think that there's still going to be people hating on it, as they always do, but I mean, it's unstoppable. So
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. just like Amanda said, the WNBA has kind of, been on the back burner of a lot of sports fans' minds for the longest time.
Well, let me ask you, not to interrupt, but let me ask you a question. I mean, your group, your age group, your demographic, what are you talking about the WNBA? Are you that's what I want to know.
Say, in my circles, like me and my friends, we never talked about the WNBA until Caitlin Clark came onto the scene.
Okay, that's a big step.
And I think that is really that's really like what it is for like all of the sports world. Like a lot of people are talking about the WNBA right now, and that's exactly what they need. Like I think that I heard somewhere, I think I saw it on NBA Twitter or something like that, that the Indiana Fever, the team that Caitlin Clark got drafted to, they're going to be playing in a bigger arena, I'm pretty sure, when she comes to the team. So, I mean, that just shows already that the WNBA is preparing to get a large influx of fans,
All it takes is one person or one team.
Yeah.
Like the Nebraska women's volleyball team, they played in the stadium, and that was a huge thing for women's volleyball. Caitlin Clark is a huge person for the WNBA, and now that she's in the league, I think a lot more players are going to get coverage.
Mm-hmm. With all due respect to all the other sports, basketball is a glamour sport, and it is just phenomenal and interesting how one person is spurring, with all due respect to the other women who are coming in with her, that she is just driving the needle here. And I'm just a sports person. I mean, I saw when they started practice. I know when they have their first game. I didn't
You've
really
never known
pay that much attention.
You've never
before.
known about the WNBA before. Like, I don't even know when their season starts. It's
March 14th,
it's always weird.
May 14th, I
because it always ends like really early. I think they only play
around Labor Day, around that time.
How many games do they play? 60?
40, I think.
40, right?
Wow.
40
they play
something.
a shockingly low amount of games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because when you watch, like, sometimes I'll catch, like, the WNBA, like, finals or the playoffs. I'll, like, tune in if there's nothing on. But
And they
You're
do
like-
draw well. They do draw well.
Yeah.
Like I went to
But you need more than that.
I went to a New York Liberty game once at
They
the
draw very
Barclays
well.
Center, and it was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed, and they were getting rowdy. Like, but I think that the WNBA is just gonna. Right now, the problem with the WNBA is that they're not self-sufficient. They rely on the NBA.
Well, they've gone to more
financially,
private ownership
right?
now. And
Yeah,
that's a big
She's
deal.
getting
'cause
private
all the-
ownership,
yeah.
and then also this huge influx of fans that is inevitably going to come with Caitlin Clark and other players after her. Like the talent level is going to rise, and the quality of game, the quality of play is going to rise as well, which is going to draw more people to the sport, which I think is really, really great.
It's all about ratings
It's like
and
names.
who's
It's all
watching,
about names.
because
Caitlin
that's how
Clark-
you get the advertisers.
Caitlin Clark may not be getting paid as much as she should. However, she just got a signature shoe deal from Nike.
Yeah.
So that is huge. That's like some like $28
The
million.
salaries in the WNBA reflect the revenue. It has not been a
Her contract
revenue
right now
winner.
with the Fever is less than $100,000 a year.
Right, but it's people are paying attention now for the first time what the women are getting
Yes.
paid. The season is short. The women have to go overseas to make a living. It's you can't. The WNBA and the NBA are not even apples and oranges. They're like lemons and
tangerines.
and grapefruits. It's just not. It's not in the same ballpark, but it's going to be very interesting to see, and I'm looking forward to it. So now let's transition. You've been here for several years. Give us your collective thoughts on what you've seen Marist athletically that stands out for you, either positive or negative, over your tenure here as Marist undergrads.
Well, I think we've said it before, but the women's sports here, especially women's basketball, is like probably our best program. And I've been to a few games. I've been to a couple men's games too, but I feel like the women's games get way more attention, in my opinion. Right.
They have traditionally.
Yeah.
That's kind of changing a little. It's drifting a little bit towards the men's side, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the men's basketball game that was broadcast on ESPN nationally. That always draws a big crowd because people want to, like, oh my God, I want to be on TV. Oh my God, mom and dad, hi. But like, women's basketball has always stood out to me personally. Also, more recently, I know the baseball team's not doing so hot, but I've been working more baseball games as the public address announcer. Gary,
You're the
you're a
voice of
public address
baseball?
announcer.
I am.
So I've been working as the public address announcer for baseball, and I've been enjoying that scene a lot too. And I've been getting to know the players. Shout out Marco Ali if you're watching this. How
Went
you
to high
doing?
school with him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No way.
St.
Yeah,
Anthony's.
he's a great guy.
St.
He's a
Anthony's
great guy. But yeah, I mean, those two sports really what stood out to me the most.
Amanda, what is your fondest memory, either plus or minus, of the last 4 years for yourself?
My fondest memory is when the men's soccer team won the MAAC championships. I mean, they had so many all-stars on that team during that time. Some of them are still on the team. Many of them transferred out or graduated, but I think they're still a very well-rounded team. I think they have so much talent. They are coached by a great coach, and my favorite player to watch is Nick Sanchez, I think his name is. He's a left wing, so fast. He's just a freshman, and he's going to take the team to a new level. I've been working most of the home games with the Red Fox Network. So I love watching the softball team. They are amazing. Alyssa Grupp, she was on the show. I also interned with her. So she's always great, a great person to talk to, and a great softball player. They're a great team. You have Maya McDonald, Maddie Pleasance. Everyone on the team is so great. And the men's lacrosse team, obviously. They just lost their game against Siena, but it's always a good time to watch. They're very aggressive, but it's a very good time to watch.
All right,
That
so
sounded weird, but I didn't mean it to sound weird.
So we have women's basketball, men's soccer, women's softball, and men's lacrosse. Ryder, what do you got for
Throwing
us?
volleyball out there.
Oh, I
Wow.
forgot
Yeah,
volleyball.
volleyball.
They're
Yeah.
awesome.
So for my internship with the SID with Mike Ferraro, shout out Mike, big dog.
What's up, Mike?
Obviously he's gonna watch this. Obviously,
Of course.
he has to. I got to work replay for the volleyball games, which replay was horrifying to me because I thought I was terrified. Because like if the refs come up to you, they need you to like work the replay to get the right
You're
call.
on the spot, brother.
The game's riding on me. I don't like that. I didn't like it at all. But it was fine. I worked a couple times, but I never realized how infectious like volleyball games were because I never watched volleyball games. But our volleyball team has some special players on it. Like Sasha, she's transferring.
Sasha,
But she's
yeah.
been on the show. First episode, great episode. It was like, I saw some great games there. I also saw some stinkers, but it's fine. But yeah, volleyball is that sport, and I will continue to watch volleyball.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, each of you give us a little short shout out to the Marist student body on why they should have an increased level of support for the Marist athletic teams.
That's easy. I don't want to cut you off.
You want to start? Go ahead.
But if you've been to a volleyball game and you've seen a close volleyball win, which I have seen, I think we were playing. I want to say Ryder, but I don't remember.
That's your name.
It is my name,
Okay.
but it's with an I.
Ryder.
Yeah,
Hardly even know her.
someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to cut that out. Sorry. Sorry.
No, we are
Look at
keeping
Gary
that in.
laughing.
It's a good
We're
one.
keeping that in.
If you've been to a good game, you know how good Marist crowds can be. They can be pretty good. In that game I saw, the crowd was very, very, very good. I think it was OT win, or extra, whatever they call it, extra sets or something.
So experience it, and
But
you'll
the
come
more
back.
people that are there, the better it's going to be. And the better it is, the more people want to go to the games, so on and so forth. So, yeah,
Amanda?
get out there.
I think the Marist student body sometimes lacks with their enthusiasm and supporting Marist athletics. Like, people will go to games, but they won't like get on their feet. I see them, they're like looking around, seeing if someone else will do it first. But I'd say that sports relies on its fans, and if you're at Marist, you gotta support your teams. Go out there, support. It's a good time. I mean, what are you really doing on like a Saturday night at 7?
Yeah.
If you're going to Mahoney's, you're going at 12. I know you are. So go to a game
the only
at 7
time to
o'clock.
go.
You'll have like 3 hours to get ready.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Good
But
pregame.
yeah, Marist Sports relies on its fans, and these fans are also your classmates, your peers, the people you live with, the people you graduate with. So gotta support them.
Anthony, you have the final word.
I'm going to jump off of that, and I'm going to say your college experience is what you make of it, right? So that applies to, going to sports games as well. What you put in is what you get out of it, right? So if you say, I'm not going to go to the Marist football game this weekend because I'm I think they're not going to do well, or it's not going to be fun. Well, of course it's not going to be fun because you're not going and you're not giving that energy. You're not getting hype for our Red Foxes, which you should be, right? I just think that at a small school like this, it is kind of hard to get students engaged in the the sports here. Like, we are a D1 school, so we should be getting decent numbers, but I don't know, like, you should be ride or die for the Red Foxes, in my opinion, whether they're losing or whether they're winning, because they are our school. And just as Amanda said, these are the people we are graduating with. These are our peers. We have to show our support. And I think that, the Marist student body should be going to all the football games, basketball, even baseball. Baseball doesn't have, that much fan seating, but bring a towel, bring a lawn chair, go out with your friends, make some burgers, show some support for the Red Foxes. Yeah,
bring a
George Foreman.
Put it in the center field. They're not gonna do anything.
Yeah, bring Ryder.
Yeah, bring me.
Yeah,
bring me.
Thank you for making Senior Day a special day here on our final episode of the Student Section. Good luck to all of you in your future endeavors, and it's been a pleasure having you involved in this initial startup into something that'll hopefully endure over the next semesters and years. So Anthony, Amanda, Ryder, Senior Day has come and gone.
Thank you, Gary.
Congratulations.
Thank you
to
for
all.
having us.
Shout out, no free shout outs. AJ, Matt, Bernie, and Arth. And Riv,
I
too,
do want to
actually.
give a quick shout out to the rest of the crew. This experience in its first season has been incredible. It's taught me a lot, and I think I speak for for everyone here that this is something that is it's really going to help sports communication, sports media students here at this college. So I look forward to seeing where it goes in the upcoming seasons.
And we will get to meet all of the behind-the-scenes people at the Student Section after our special guest, number 20, Zaria Shazer from the Marist Womens Basketball Team. So we'll
That's a
be
baller
right
right
back
there. That's
with
a baller.
Zaria
She's a dog.
after these messages.
Shout out to Mendem.
The Student Section podcast is brought to you in part by the Marist Center for Sports Communication.
For Marist Athletics news, go to www.centerfieldmarist.com or follow CF Marist on all socials.
And welcome back to the Student Section. And what better way to end our semester than with a celebration of women's sports, specifically women's hoops, which has exploded over the past several months. And joining us, 1,000-point scorer for the Marist Red Fox, concluding her illustrious career here at Marist, the pride of Elmira, Zaria Shazer. Zaria, welcome to our humble abode. What a pleasure to have you here on the Student Section. It's really a pleasure to have you. So I talked about the explosion of women's sports. I never know if athletes are watching, because athletes play, fans watch, coaches coach. Have you been aware of all the stuff that's been going on?
Yeah.
Yes and no?
To a degree, I feel like some of it is especially during the season, we're seeing so much film. We're watching our own opponents and we're watching our games back that I'm kind of sick of it a little bit. I don't know if I could watch that much basketball, but now I've been watching the playoffs a little bit and getting back into it. So I'm aware. I'm just not a huge fanatic, I guess.
So, but have you seen a different interest, like the Caitlin Clark phenomenon was all the viewership and now into the WNBA? And I told the guys this a couple weeks ago that I didn't remember who was in the men's Final Four, but I knew specifically who was in the women's Final Four.
Yeah.
I tuned into the WNBA draft to see what was going on. So, as a female athlete, are you,
Yeah, no,
aware of that?
definitely. And even when I go places now, they're like, like they see women's basketball and it's immediately like, do you know Caitlin Clark? Like, I don't know in what
That's
world
funny.
I would know Caitlin Clark, but like just having that association, like before I would just kind of disregard or like not even pay attention, but even having a name to refer to now is like, it's awesome. It's been crazy.
And Gary, we don't even have to step outside so much. I was this year so focused on the women's team, of course, but also the Fairfield team, which was one of the better teams in the nation. How did that, I mean, when you were scouting them, Selamovic and Brown, their team was built so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they put up a good fight against Indiana.
Absolutely.
What was your of course, top team in the MAAC and top team in the league, what was your mindset when you kind of played those scrappy players on their team?
Yeah. I think it was more just like we knew what it was coming in because they had such success. Like even in their preseason games, like they were on such a roll that you kind of like you really want to take them down, but you understand the momentum that they have being undefeated in MAAC. Like it just makes it that much harder. And I think that once they got the ball rolling, like it's hard to stop that.
They were
insane.
I tuned into. After the season of Marist concluded, I tuned into every single one of their games. I wanted them to go far. I wanted them to, they had the potential, but they're going to be built for another year next year. Hopefully not in this regard, but they are built unbelievably fantastic. Janelle Brown, what an unbelievable player.
Megan Anderson,
Megan Anderson, Selamovic, they're all unbelievable. And
Does that give you a sense of belief, like being another MAAC school? Like, hey, if they can do it, then so can we.
No, exactly. That's definitely what it is. Like we were rooting for them when they were going to the tournament. Obviously, like you do your brackets and you fill it out, and you don't always know. But like I'm gonna put Fairfield. Like I'm gonna take them just because like MAAC love. Obviously not while we're playing them, not during the season. But once we get to the point where someone's a winner, like you want them to go as far as possible.
It's the same thing if I see St. Peter's or Iona on the men's bracket.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, they're gonna go.
So you are kind of in the second phase of recruiting. You were recruited out of high school, and now entering the transfer portal. And we've had a number of students on here who have been in the transfer portal. Some decided to continue on. Miles from the football team decided to come back. His reasoning was totally different staff, felt like a totally different vibe. Sasha said she wanted just, something different for her fifth year. My feeling has always been that if you give a school 4 years, there's not much more the school can ask that you've done what you were asked
I feel like
to do.
we're getting hit by an earthquake here.
Yeah,
This is
well,
interesting.
hopefully we're not. And so there's been a number of, prominent women's basketball players who have transferred. Haley Van Lith going to TCU off of transferring to LSU, now transferring out. The Cavender twins now back at Miami. I don't know what was going on there
Yeah,
with
that was weird.
their NILs and so on and so forth. Lucy Olson from Villanova, replacing Caitlin Clark at Iowa, and our own Zaria Shazer. So how has the process been?
Insane, honestly. I think that when you're coming out of high school, obviously, like, your parents are kind of in control of it. Like, they have more say, and they're in control of it. And I think that I've kind of taken it on now that I've seen it myself. And so I'm kind of in the driver's seat now. And it's like, it's flattering because it's nice to see that you have interest, but it's also super overwhelming, and especially with like senior things going on and wrapping up. Like I just want to graduate, so it's been like a privilege for sure. I'm very grateful, but I do think that it's a lot. I wouldn't wish anyone to do it by themselves.
You're an adult now.
Yeah.
You can, try to control your own destiny.
Right.
Now, you were a little beat up at the end of the season. Did you ever consider, like, I don't want to put my body through this again, or what was your thought process?
I think that I've been blessed to not have any really big injuries throughout my career, so I knew that my body would bounce back. I think it was, like, I consider it, but at the end of the day, I am a psych major also, so I do want to get my master's no matter what. Like, that's always, I don't really know what I would do without a master's in psych, so I always knew that I would do it. It just depended on like the role that I would do it in. And I think now that I feel like I've really recovered, like I'll be perfectly fine, honestly.
Psychology and her mindset on the basketball court, I think, has a lot to do with your
That's
success.
coaching material right there.
Yeah, for sure. But
You-
while she's playing, you're like an Iron Man. You just don't really miss games. You play pretty much every minute, especially this year with Coach Dowdy. I know she wanted to play you a lot, and you were willing to take on that role. How does that come about, and how are you so conditioned?
Yeah, I think that what you're saying about psychology, like, it has been a huge part, like, learning what I've learned throughout my courses and kind of applying it, because I don't think it'd be easy to listen to me as a psychologist or a therapist if I wasn't doing my own, like, if I was out there just losing my mind, which, like, passion definitely plays a part in it, but being able to sustain myself and, like, mentally be there was huge this season, especially with the way that things were going. I think that, yeah, like, it really was about just drawing back on things like that and understanding that it's basketball at the end of the day. Like, I feel like I have good perspective on life in general, and the fact that this isn't really it. Like, there's so many other things, so why not enjoy it? And I think that's what kept me going, was like, it's senior year. Like, I wanna play as much as possible. Like, this is only a once in a lifetime opportunity. Not everybody gets to do it, so it's kind of pushing through for that reason, just being grateful.
That's the second time I heard, quote, "It's just basketball" this week. LeBron James said that.
He also has a $50 million opt-out,
so
that's a little different story. So would you like to reveal where you're going? No, I don't think so.
What are the things you are looking for,
Yeah.
though, when you're in the portal?
I thought maybe we could break some news about this.
At least we tried.
That's okay. You gave it a shot. No harm, no foul.
You text us and we'll.
Yeah, pretty soon I'll let you guys know.
No harm, no foul.
Right.
The worst that could happen is you said no.
Exactly.
So,
I respect it. No, I think that my freshman year here, winning that championship and having that feeling was, like, so amazing. And then after that, we obviously had, like, a pretty big drop off in just wins in general. And I've always been a huge competitor. So, like, getting back to a program where there's, like, a good, like, winning culture, not that I can't do a rebuild, but especially with 1 year left, like, I wouldn't want to be in a rebuilding position or on a team that is rebuilding. So someone who's in a pretty good position would, like, graduate, like,
of course, you want to go out on a winning note.
I don't want to go out.
Absolutely.
How would you balance being on a winning roster and a competitive roster and being able to also sacrifice some of the things? Because you're obviously the focal point of Marist Women's Basketball, but if you're on a winning roster, you might have to be able to sacrifice maybe not playing every minute of every game and being the focal point, being through the whole entire offense. How do you balance those two?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's honestly a more familiar position for me than what, like, these past 4 years, obviously, at Marist, I've been a focal point, I guess, but like, even in high school, we had 4 Division I girls on our team. So it wasn't like I wasn't trying to be the main focus,
Right.
I guess. The priority is always going to be winning, and I think I want to get back to that place where it's not so much like one person or one-on-one.
So the next part of that would be that if you went to a really good program and were coming off the bench, you could deal with that. You could handle that.
Yeah.
You'd rather start, though.
TBD.
That's
TBD.
definitely-
Everything
that's
is
definitely-
TBD.
Everything sounds good in May.
Yes, exactly. And that's literally my AAU coach. I was talking with him, and he warned me, and he was like, everyone thinks that, especially when you're immediately done the season and you don't want to play anymore, like, I'm just like, I'm done. Like, he was like, you're saying this now,
Yes.
but
Of course,
just
the
think
juices
about it a
start
little
flowing.
bit.
You want to start the whole thing.
Exactly.
I want to read a quote. We have a crack research department here, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, crack research
gosh.
department. So I want to read a quote from Coach Georges when you were recruited, okay? She is a versatile player with a scorer's mentality and the ability to rebound in a crowd. Zaria is a dynamic athlete who hasn't even come close to reaching her ceiling yet.
Wow.
Now, would
was
you
right.
say that was
amazing.
prophetic? Would
Yeah.
you say that was on target? How would you,
I'd say that he knows what he's talking about all the time. I've never felt like he was not knowledgeable in, like, basketball, and just, I think that's the biggest compliment, because he does know. He's just a genius. I think he's a genius, honestly, and
Is that why you came here? Was he the reason you came here?
he was a big reason. He knows success, and he knows what it takes to succeed, and he just has a winning mentality as well, and he also knows how to create good players and create good teams, and it was huge that he was here when I came here, yeah.
Do you think when you were on the floor for Marist, your number one, well, at least on our perspective, your number one thing was the foul line jump shot? Is that really what you felt most comfortable?
No, 100%. The mid-range is so, like, it's just where I feel the best. The foul line is 100%. I'm always trying to get to the foul line. And not even, which is so weird because I was a terrible free throw shooter. Like when I was
When you were contested.
Yeah,
it's crazy every time.
It's insane.
Whether it was on the elbow,
No.
just outside in the the men's jump ball area.
Right. No, my dad tells me like you have to get to your areas, like you have to know where your spots are on the floor for like highest percentage shots, and I was like, if no one's gonna take it, Aidan, this is the one that I want.
If you see the pros, and I was fortunate enough to be around for them for quite some time, is that they have their spots. And they try to get to their spots because they feel that they're automatic from their spots. And I think in the recent playoffs, in the NBA playoffs, Jamal Murray is one of those guys. When he hits some ridiculously tough shots. His shot to win the game the other night was an insanely difficult shot, but he got to his comfort
That's
level
where
there.
he does it.
Yeah.
The mid-range, he was falling away, but he had space, but that's where he's comfortable.
They brought a quote back of him saying that if he's going to go for a game winner, then he's going to take a mid-range shot rather than a three. There's no reason for him to take a three. He's going to go to the mid-range, and that's exactly what he did twice.
Yeah, and you don't think of him as a three-point shooter. You think of him as, which is a very difficult shot. When you look at back now, 4 years goes quick, right? 4 years goes quick.
Yeah.
What do you do better now that you did when you came in as a freshman? And what was the biggest adjustment for you when you came out of high school into college?
I think, again, free throw shooting was atrocious. I think I was at like 30% or something like that freshman year. Like, it was really, really bad. So getting to even like the 70s now was a huge, huge adjustment for me. Georges worked with me like in the summer. It was a big focal point, especially with how aggressive I play. Like, there was no reason for me to be going in there and drawing all these fouls and then missing free throws. So that was definitely like, that's the biggest jump that I made from freshman year. Coming into college, I think that it was like knowing the pace of the game. And most people say that like it's much faster, but me personally, I play at such a pace that it was way quicker than what the college pace was. Like, it was more meticulous and slow here. Like, he was like, we have a set and you go through the set and you set the screen, and I was like, no, I'm gonna run. Like, I'm gonna run as fast as possible the entire time. And so making that adjustment as I grew up, like understanding that there's times when you have to like change speeds instead of going 100% the entire time is important.
And Gary, I've only been here 1 year.
Okay.
And this season, especially towards the end of the season, whether the result was there or not, I did see a lot of those sets that were continuous through every third quarter, whether it be, when Jackie was in the game and she'd bring the ball up and then, there'd be a screen set and you'd find Julia. It would happen every time around the same time. Is that not, that's correct, right?
Yeah.
You had kind of the same pace, and then you'd find Alexi for a three.
Yep.
Around the same time every game, something would go into action and you'd get, a good speed boost.
Yeah.
And was that something that you tried to, stay constant?
Yeah, I think that it's really about like the system here. Like, we know exactly, he's been doing it for so long. Obviously, even with Erin, like, she took it in as well. So it's something that they've done for so long that they know exactly like when people should be getting like the timing on things, the angle that you have to go, like where exactly your foot should be. And I think that is like where we take pride in the fact that we're really meticulous about those things.
Kiara was held together by Scotch tape this year.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I had her in class first semester, and we used to joke about that. She would limp into class, limp out of class. But I thought from, again, entirely outsider's perspective, that I thought that her injuries hurt you because she opened up the floor for you because of the things that she could do. And it was tough to see. I mean, she was, she was really, and then you got hurt at the end also.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been my point guard since we were like 5th grade. So it's
the
really,
prides of Elmira.
Yeah, it's really like I'm so used to playing with her, and it's strange almost when she's not on the court for me. And even some of it is like a mental aspect almost, like not having her with there, like not even physically obviously, because she finds me wherever I'm at, and she's a great assist leader, but even mentally, like her not being there is usually a huge toll on me because she's always there on the bench and cheering me on, but it's not the same when you know you have your point guard on the floor with you, and psychologically, like, she keeps me together for most of it.
It's tough to get through 4 years. It's physically demanding regardless of what the sport is, regardless if it's a men's sport or a women's sport. by the time you're a senior, sometimes just surviving is the greatest accomplishment that you can have. So I was a little disappointed that you were banged up at the end and couldn't perform as you wanted to perform.
What are the things that you're doing now that the season's over? You're one of the sports that has an extra semester afterwards, and then obviously the spring sports, you have your semester before. But now that it's your senior year, like Gary had just mentioned, what are the things that you've been able to do during your senior year in this free semester that you have? Not that it's free, because you're still very busy, but...
Yeah, well, I think I enjoy running, which is... Our coaches weren't super, she wasn't enthusiastic. She's like, guys, you finally have freedom. We're all done now. And you guys are doing, Aaron Fox just did a 5K. We're just, running for fun. And she was like, you guys hated running when you were here, so it's funny. But, we do a lot of running. I just think it's enjoyable now to do it for myself instead of having to do it as, a practice type thing. So a lot of running.
Clears your mind.
Exactly. Music and no thoughts. Literally none.
Last night, after a unfortunate result in the...
Maybe for you, not for me.
You're a Sixer fan?
He's just
It's
not
complicated.
He's just not an
It's complicated.
I went to the gym, and I went on the Peloton bike, and I biked for 16 miles.
Wow.
And
I was on the Peloton yesterday, but I didn't do 16 miles.
Yeah.
I did a nice 30-minute Motown ride.
16 miles with just steam blowing out of his ears.
So,
what kind of music do you listen to?
I like R&B.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
one of the things that I've always noticed with athletes who are successful is they love the grind. Like they like to get in on the court. They like to get into the gym. They like to work on their. They just love that. You know, whether it's golf or tennis or basketball, they just love that sweat of getting. You know, do you enjoy that?
I'm a huge competitor. Yeah, I almost don't want to do something if I don't know I'm going to be good at it, and I know that I'm going to be I'm going to enjoy myself because I'm going to win. So I think it's harder with running because I have times to push myself, but it really is you versus you, and I think that's good for me instead of having people that I'm getting a little too rowdy with. Instead, I'm just pushing myself. So yeah.
So you love that grind.
No, I saw Tiger Woods on TV this morning, and he's very controlled his interviews or whatever, and they were asking him about growing up and playing golf or whatever. And I had read a couple Tiger Woods books, and they say that this is when, you have children or whatever, that if you so his father would go into the garage and hit golf balls, and he put Tiger in the baby swing, just watching him hit golf balls. And they say studies show that children, even at that age, they assimilate that. And over and over and over. Andre Agassi's father, when Andre was in the crib, used to put a tennis ball above his crib and have Andre hit. I don't know, So, there's a lot of truth to that grind situation. But I wanted to. So your fifth year, this is your COVID year, correct? Yep. Take us back to the COVID year. That has to be a lasting memory that is just seared into your soul. Yeah,
absolutely. It was, and also I have to be grateful because it was the year we won a championship. So there's pros and cons. Obviously, the con was that we moved 8 times. We had 8 different houses on campus. I've gone on a tour of all Marist housing because we were moved so many times just to try and keep us safe and allow us to have a season. And I think that dedication, the fact that none of us got COVID and that we were able to play all of our games and not forfeit any, was a huge part. That grind that you're talking about was just locking in with each other and being we're going to win a championship because we've done all these things to get here. It was crazy.
No fans.
No fans.
Yeah, how was that?
I was so scared sophomore year when we came in and there was a stadium full of people. It was just to start your career and having no one there and getting used to that, actually being able to hear your coach calling a play and nobody else is heckling you. I don't think it's a good way to start because then you're going the next few years and you're what is going on right now? These people are insane, but it was just different.
Do you have any favorite memories of Marist basketball? You alluded to the championship.
That's a tough question.
I know, you alluded to the championship, so that's obviously one of them. But then there's got to be others. Maybe it's with a teammate in the past, playing with Kiara. I know you alluded to as well.
1,000 points.
That's
that
why
works
Aidan's
too.
here, to give us that journalistic perspective.
Yeah, That's what I do. So
That's
you have
what he
any
does.
any favorite moments?
I think beating Iona, we were just on not a great streak once again. Like, it was just not a good time. And we usually go to our sophomore Kira Croker's house because she's from around there after. So being able to celebrate after at her house and, like, not even just the game itself. Like, it was awesome that we got to win, but being at her house and spending time with one another. Like, her mom is, like, so great, and she's a great host. And we always get these cookies. So.
She's also a Marist basketball alum. Kiara's mom, Kiara Croker. Being that she's a sophomore, what are the things that you do to mentor the younger players and now hand the keys over to them, so to speak, for the Marist basketball program?
Yeah, I think I'm a big lead by example person. Like, I don't like to, like, tell people things because if you're not doing it, then it doesn't really add up. I still tell people things, but I think I'm I think I'm more of, like, the way that I work in practice and the things that I do in practice, I think is what sets the example, especially for people like Kira, because she is our position and my position, and I, like, have a certain affinity for her because she's just great, and she reminds me of myself also. She's picked up, like, the mid-range jumper, and she's just a gritty person, so I think that showing her that, like, doing what you're good at is what's going to make you successful, basically. Like, I'm not trying to shoot, like, 23s. Like, I'm just going to do what I'm good at, and I think that shows.
Play to
that-
your strengths.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what led to.
So what are the college coach without, and again, I know that you're not going to break any news here, but when you talk to these new college coaches now about the next step, what do they say to you about your game that can then translate into their, because they're trying to recruit you, you're also recruiting them, that they want you to work on something? Do they just want you to keep doing what you're doing? What do they say to you about your game?
I think that they try and balance it because obviously they're trying to, like, make me feel good about the way that I'm playing and that we want them. So they're like, oh, like, the motor is a huge thing that they're like, yeah, like, with a good motor, I feel like you can do anything, honestly. If you're a hard worker, then they can put you in almost any situation. But I also feel like they kind of phrase it in the sense that I know that what George just said, even about the ceiling, I still don't feel like I've reached my ceiling as a player.
Interesting.
And I don't think that I've developed in every way that I could. So them adding that aspect, like, basically with the player development at the colleges that they're at and, like, kind of showcasing that aspect, them saying, like, well, going both directions, using that left hand, like, that'll open a whole other side of the floor for you. And I'm like, yeah, no, it will, like, for sure. I can.
TBD.
TBD once again, because we don't know about the left, but I do think that, like, knowing that they can see that potential as well is really important, and the fact that they want to work on that stuff.
Here's an interesting question.
Well, maybe. We'll see.
Okay. Thanks, Kara. So when McCann is crowded, it is quite loud in there. When especially down in the stretch in the fourth quarter, it can get loud.
And
to
the women's team has always been since I've been here, has always been the focal point of the
McCann Arena.
fan attendance. The men are drawing now, but and I've been doing the games for 7-8 years. It's been a women's
Predominantly, the program has been better.
It's been the showcase program.
Yeah.
The arena can get very loud. Is there ever a time where, because I can feel this in the men's and the women's and even volleyball, where you just kind of either feel disoriented or genuinely don't hear anything?
Yeah, absolutely, that happens. I think my thing is, like, seeing. Like, I don't always know. I don't know. They want us to, like, look over there, and I think I get locked down on what's going on, that I can, like, hear people. But, like, the seeing aspect is, like, I'm laser
You're locked in.
focused.
You're focused.
Yeah, like, there's nothing. They try and say something, or they're like, hey, like, getting my. I can't do that.
Yeah, great player. The crowd is just, it's ancillary stuff that's going on. They're so focused on the game, their opponent, their coaches, that the rest of it is just, I don't want to say noise, but it is just like going to sleep. It's like noise that you have like in the background. During the course of the 4 years, have there been any times where you've played somebody and you said, she does that really well. I wonder if I could do that. Like, have there been certain players that have impressed you over the past couple of years since you've been here?
Definitely. I think that just, like, strength-wise and some of the ways that, like, girls are moving. So, like, Callie Kavanaugh from Fairfield, from I think like a year or two ago. She wasn't here this year, so last year. She's just a strong-bodied player, and I always admire people being able to like use their weight. I think that like as an undersized post, that's something that I've always wanted to be able to do, and I just can't get the hang of. And it kind of turned me more into a finesse player, seeing players like her being so like strong and bully ball, that I was like, I don't know if I can do that. So let me just get back. Let me start branching a little, like stretch my game out, I guess, instead of trying to make myself something I'm not.
Play within her strengths. Once again, keeps referring back to that. I think that's very interesting, especially given the success that the women's basketball team has had. Are there any teammates that you've had in the past that you were able to get advice from, especially being a freshman and being on a championship team? I know, like, even at professional level, people are like, oh, I was in the Super Bowl or I was in the NBA Finals my rookie year, and then I didn't realize how hard it is to get back to that. Was that something that was mentioned to you by older players at the time?
Yeah. Willow Duffel was like the post that was the anchor for that.
She went to Harvard, didn't she, for her post?
She did. She's awesome.
It's not bad.
Yeah, no, not at all. But she was like the anchor for that team, and also I think she got like Player of the Year that year. Like she was just doing everything for us.
That was a surprising team, if I could just interject, because that was not, when you looked at it on paper, a championship caliber team. And Willow had not had great stats up till that point. I mean, that was a very interesting and unique collection of players that ended up winning the title. But Willow, she actually comes from the town where I reside. She was a big star in high school, but her stats were not overwhelming, right? Would you agree with that?
No, I agree. They talk about her jump, like the jump that she made going into her senior year. Like it was crazy the way that she stepped up, and I think it was like a lot of just who she was as a person more than even a basketball player. Like she knew exactly. She had been on a team with such amazing players like the Hands and Alana and those guys, so she knew what it took just because she saw them. And I think that having that sense of leadership, like getting the best out of the entire team, was a huge part of why we were successful. You know,
their senior year, that was the year that was cut short by COVID. That team was stupendous.
They would have went so far.
Yeah, that team was very, very good. That was a heartbreaking situation. So you also have a characteristic that probably, I don't know if anybody has mentioned it to you, that this is my academic hat on, is that you write great emails. Very... And I always tell the students that that's the first impression that people get, applying for a job, applying for an internship. And I just had to mention that, very, very well-written emails, which the next step, prospective employer, whoever it may be, is going to look at that and say, I want to meet this person.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've never gotten that comment before.
Well, there you go.
I really appreciate it.
Email is now the big thing.
It's the first impression. It's the first impression people get. And when I have students, I tell them, you got to know how to write. It's the most basic thing, whatever it may be. Even if you're not going to write something sports related, you're going to send an email at some point to somebody who you're going to try to impress, or at least not give a bad impression of it. So I just, I
do enjoy writing also. So that did more than you thought with just the email aspect, because I'm big on reading and writing. So that made me feel good.
In the future, are you looking to be in sports psychology, or are you trying to go more general psychology?
I'm going more general psychology. I'm going to get my master's in mental health counseling, but like I wouldn't be opposed in like taking on athletes specifically. I feel like just with my background, I would have some good
coaching.
perspective.
Is that a possibility at some point, or you don't know?
Another one that you could say.
Definitely not.
No, okay.
Definitely not.
NA.
Now, what about as an administrator?
Okay, see, that's something.
You can't see yourself on the sideline. Look at that, the face.
No, it hurts. Like, it pains me.
Yeah.
We do the camps in the summer with the kids.
You just want to do.
And I want.
You don't like kids?
No, I love kids. No, it is not their fault. I have such a control thing where I'm like, I just need you to do this, and I don't know. It's so hard for me not to be doing it myself.
Just like take the ball. And just
yes, like I was just gonna go post up some kids. I have to. I'm sorry.
Well, the reason I said that is my daughter one year was counseling counselor at a tennis camp, and she ended up hating kids
Oh,
because
wow.
of this. So not now, but so I have like experience with that that situation. So give us a timetable if you could. I know you're not going to give us the answer, but give us a timetable as to when you think that this momentous decision will be coming down, and does the master's program play into the decision?
It was like, if it didn't have that program, then I wasn't even going to speak with them.
The quality of the program.
Yeah, but the quality. Okay, yeah, the quality as well. I feel like that's a huge aspect. The first step was just making sure they had it. So no conversation went any further if they didn't have that specific program. And fewer schools than I thought had it. Honestly, I thought there would be a few more. But even the general counseling though, it's adaptable, I guess. But yeah, the quality of the program is a huge part. I think having a Marist degree is obviously going to be huge. But whatever I'm doing for grad school is also going to it's going to be on my resume. So I don't want it to be anything that's lackluster. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think it's just a huge part.
Well, you have two huge advantages.
Yeah.
One, when you go in for a job, no one looks to see what courses you took. They look to see that you have your master's, and they go, great. They don't look if it's in painting or but
Gotcha.
having the degree. And secondly, people love to hire athletes because they know they have a work ethic and they take well to direction. And when especially if you're an accomplished athlete, employers love that. So those are two huge things that you have going for
Career coaching with Gary Sussman.
No,
It's good stuff.
That was good. That was
It
good
is.
insight.
no. Well, it's I've seen it play out many times, and it's just athletes have a discipline. They need to get to practice. They need to have time management.
Right.
They need to be able to organize their day. And the more success now, a successful athlete who I just saw Johnny Manziel in the news. Now, Johnny never went to class, but Johnny could play football and made his money and then flamed out or whatever. But for the most part, athletes have that sense of time management, that discipline, that work ethic. That's what employers love. So I think you have it all going for you. So give us the time. So
It was I'm looking. I want it before I graduate. So May 18th.
wait, graduate in terms of the actual walking graduation?
Yeah,
or?
walking graduation. I'd like to have a decision. I don't want to be worried.
You shake Kevin Wyman's hand and just be like,
I'm
going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
fantastic.
Have you thought about choreographing?
No.
Can you imagine? You got up on stage, shook his hand, and go, UCLA.
He would be like,
What?
Are you saying? Dang it.
Or he came from Amherst.
No, that'd be great. If I had the audacity to do it, I'd do it. I think I'd start crying in the middle of it if I had to.
Go ahead.
I'd say we're definitely, hopefully, some people here, and then we.
Are we going to be able to watch you play? You think? Without giving, I'm doing everything I can to get.
No, yeah.
I think you can watch anyone as long as you're not an NAIA. I think you can watch.
You'll be able to watch.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
We will be continuing to watch you throughout your career. We are so happy that you were our final guest. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
We can't thank you enough. Good luck to you as you make this choice.
Thank
We
you.
really do mean it.
I just have one more question because Will's trying to wrap up. But I don't care what the control room says. Your family, how involved have they? I mean, you talked about it when you're in high school. It's a different dynamic. You're living at home. Now you're a woman. You're an adult. You're controlling your destiny. But the family dynamic playing into this final choice here.
Yeah, they've been along with me. I've sent them every call, every email, every DM that I've gotten. So they've definitely had a say in it. And also they're coming with me on visits as well. They're still there. I think they understand that the decision at the end of the day is going to be mine. But hearing their opinion and having them filter through it as well, you need someone to bounce it off of. So I have been talking with them endlessly, actually.
Will you be joining Isaiah Brickner in Idaho?
I will not.
Oh man, okay, we eliminated one.
We can definitely eliminate that one. There
Is that where he's going? Idaho?
Yes.
Whoa. Well, as Will said, I just want to echo, thank you so much for coming
really.
on. It's been a pleasure to watch you over the past 4 years. only the best of luck next year. I tried my best to find out where you're going, but obviously I ran into a brick wall as
We'll
I
find
knew
out
I
too.
would.
Get a text.
No, I'll let you guys know.
But we thank you so much. We wanted to celebrate women's basketball and women's sports before we ended. Even though we've had good female representation on, but you are our Caitlin Clark, so we appreciate you coming on, and only the best in the future. So
Thank you very much.
congratulations and thank you once again.
Thank you. I appreciate
How about a nice round of applause, student section?
Oh, I was going to tell you guys.
Zaria Shazer, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be back with more on the student section. We'll let you meet the people behind the scenes right after these messages.
The Hudson Valley Renegades are a proud sponsor of the Student Section podcast. Rick Zolzer, Vice President of Entertainment. When can you watch the Renegades?
Starting April 16th all the way through to the first week of September, and hopefully we make playoffs after that.
You heard it here. A proud sponsor of the Student Section. The Student Section is not possible without some of our best workers. First, let's talk to Ryder. Ryder? And what year are you, Ryder? Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a senior.
A senior. Ryder, what do you do on the show?
Well, I'm a chem person. I also work in the research department. I do a little bit of everything.
He's a man of everything here. He's been on an episode. Ryder, what do you want to say as you depart Marist and the Student Section?
Very first episode, might I add. I'd like to say this podcast is going to go do great things, go to big places. I think it has a lot of opportunity.
Ryder, couldn't have done it without you, as thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now let's talk to Rob. Rob.
How you doing, Will?
Doing well. Another one of our featured performers this season. Rob, what year are you? What's your major? And give us a little intro.
I'm a junior here. I'm a sports communication major with a business minor. I work in production, and I'm a utility guy. Whatever needs to get done, I'll help set up, work teleprompter, whatever we need.
Rob also can do it all. Rob, what do you want to say as you depart this season of the Student Section?
It's been a great experience. I learned a lot being around everyone here. Great team to work with, and I'm excited for next season.
Rob, everyone. Everyone, it's Anthony.
How you doing, Will?
I'm doing well. One of our producers here, the man who makes the our sheets, the man who does our preparation. Anthony, what's your major? What are you looking forward to as you depart this season?
I'm a sports communication journalism major. I'm a senior as well, so this is my first and last season of the Student Section podcast. Just like Rob said, I've learned a lot. This crew has been great, and I think this podcast will provide our students with some great opportunities moving forward.
Anthony, the man who does it all behind the scenes. Anthony, we'll miss you dearly.
Thank you.
I'm Zach. I'm a junior. I'm a sports comm major, minor in business, just like Rob. And I work in cameras and a little part of the research team.
He joined us later on, but he's been a big impact so far. What do you want to say as you depart this season of the Student Section?
I had a great time. I learned a lot, and I'm just ready to come back next year and keep this program going.
Student Section will prevail. Thank you so much, Zach.
Thank you.
Nate Babcock. Nate,
How you doing, Will?
what's your major and what do you do here on the Student Section?
I'm a sports comm major alongside journalism, and I also have a soon-to-be-dropped animation minor. I am on the audio team and the research team.
What'd you say?
I am on the I do the audio, and I'm on the research team.
One more time.
I do the audio, and I am on the research team.
We couldn't hear you without Nate. Nate, thank you so much. What do you want to say as you continue the Student Section?
It's been great to be a part of something new. I really appreciate Gary putting this together, and it's been nice to be a part of something brand new. Just get it started from the ground up, and I'm happy to be here for the next 2 years.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for Nate. Josh. Mr. Research, Mr. Man. Josh, a great face, makes everyone smile. The man who has the most infamous laugh here. Josh, what's your major and what do you want to do going into next season?
I'm a senior sports communications major, but I do have 1 semester left. So I just want to keep making this show move and keep making it bigger and bigger.
And with Josh, that's possible. Beautiful. Thank you, Josh. Victoria, head of our social media, at
the Student Section Podcast.
You know to follow us. Victoria, give us a little bit about yourself.
I am a junior sports communication major, and I also study journalism here at Marist.
You can catch Victoria as a timeout coordinator as well at McCann. She does it all. Victoria, we have some more student section with yourself. What are you looking to improve on the social media side?
I am looking to improve more editing, interviewing, and just putting everything together so people can be more interactive with each other.
And you could find that next semester here at the student section. Victoria, thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda, the queen of research for our, say it with me, crack research team.
I didn't know what you were saying.
Gary Sussman's favorite. Amanda, we're going to be very sad to see you go. What is your major and what is your next plan? What do you see for the student section?
I am a sports comm and journalism major, and for the student section, you guys are in such great hands with Gary, Jean, all of you guys. I'm really happy that I got to spend some of the last few months with you guys. It was really nice to get to know all of you, and you guys will do just fine.
A heart-touching end to a great season. Amanda, you're going to be missed, but we thank everyone for tuning in. We bring up Derek DeGallo now, the man of the switcher. Derek, who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Derek. I'm a junior sports comm major with also a double concentration in journalism with a minor in digital video production. Like you said, I'm the switch dude, and I also do research.
You could really do it all behind the scenes. We hear you singing when we don't tape. Derek, coming into next season, what is some idea that you have that we can get rolling?
It's a great question, Will, and I don't have the answer for you.
Not that research-oriented. Garrick, play-by-play man. The great Gino, really the backbone of the show. Gene is here. Look at this hair. I wouldn't want it, but this guy, it fits. It doesn't fit my face. It fits your face much better, especially when it's poofy. Gene, the man who does everything, the graphics, the lights, the scenery, he coordinates it all. Gene, thank you genuinely for what you do every show. We would not be here without you. Gene, who are you? What do you do? And what's your major?
Well, first of all, thank you, Will, and thank you everybody else who's been involved in this production up to this point. It's been truly an honor working with everyone, and the show would not be nearly as high quality without all the talented young men and women that we have on this show. That being said, my name is Gene Barbieri, and I'm a sophomore here at Marist, sports communication major, looking to pursue a career in sports production. Just looking to start off as an AP, work my way up, maybe become an EP at some point, just bounce around working for different sports companies. Really looking forward to it and looking forward to being here for 2 more years pursuing what I love with the Student Section Podcast.
And when you get there, you could say you started where?
Marist College
and
the Student Section Podcast. I didn't know what to say. Put me on the spot, man.
Gene, let's take us out for Aidan, Lavin, and Gary Sussman. Come on, guys. Come up here.
Or don't.
It's been a great first season. They don't want to show face, but they've shown their face enough. It's been a great first season, and we look to see and have you here back for our second season in the fall. Take care, everyone. Have a good summer.